Hello pretties, welcome to Roll. So today I have the video that I feel like I've been alluding to a lot in a lot of my videos. It's finally here. Palettes on my chopping block. I want to be honest, this would have been a lot larger if it wasn't because I ended up decluttering 4 palettes last year. I think all 4 of those would have ended up in this shop my stash. Some of them I ended up decluttering like literally right at the very end in December of 2022. My mother decided to take them from me. So there's that. So I have 8 palettes that are here. 2 of them I actually do enjoy, and if the formula has not changed, they might end up staying. So I'll leave those for the end because they're very old. Everything else, I guess I'll talk about it as we go along. Let's go to the ones where it pains me to say this, but I just don't use them. So I have my Literally Los Angeles in Party Animal. I actually do like this palette, but I very rarely reach for them. And if I do reach for this palette, I'm reaching for these 2 shades right here. I like to use Karaoke, which does have a dip as a liner. And then this one is a dual chrome. It looks very dark, but it's actually a purple and it has like a pink shift to it. It's actually really cool. So those are the only 2 shades that I normally reach for when I reach for this palette. It's just, I just don't usually go for neon colors. If I'm doing color, I do more dual tones, which are a little more muted. That's usually what I would do. Oh gosh, give me a second, guys. My fingers are now stained because it's a pressed pigment palette. I do like it. So I'm gonna try to, use it a little bit more. I don't think I'm gonna keep it, even if I always feel bad decluttering anything from Los Angeles, but realistically this is just not my colors, so there's that. On the same boat, my other mini palette from Los Angeles, I actually really enjoyed this one. I find myself never reaching for this because I can't complete cohesive looks with this palette. It's missing a transition shade, so it essentially just ends up having a lot of really pretty shimmers. I don't know, this one pains me to give it up because this bottom row is absolutely gorgeous, and I actually don't have anything quite like this shade right here. Even this specific tone of green, I don't quite have anything like it. Everything else I can do, obviously. But this one would actually pain me to get rid of, so I don't know. I might try to take him out of the box. I don't know. I might try to depot him, but it'd be a lot harder for me to find new homes for this if I were to do that. So I don't know. I really just want to get more use out of it. Who knows, with all of these palettes in the shopping block, if I ended up really reaching for it, which that's my whole goal this year, is to really reach for all my palettes. I'm not trying to be as demanding with my eyeshadow as I have been in years past. Then maybe there'll be a chance for me to save some of these. But I honestly, currently, I don't know. Okay, the one where I think what I'm gonna end up doing is actually depotting some of the shades, and you see I already depotted one. So what I'm trying to do is, during my BYOP or build your own palette that I'm gonna be doing monthly this year, I'm going to start pulling from this palette right here, because I don't think all of these colors work for me, but if some of them work as single shadows, then I will keep them as single shadows. And in this specific kind of palette, it's a lot easier for me to be able to get rid of certain things because it's so easy to just pop them out, So I think that's what I'm gonna try to do. I might try to save a couple of single shadows. Stop. It's just the neighbor leaving. It's just the neighbor. So that's how I'm gonna try to save some of these shadows, but not all of them are gonna make it. I know for a fact this... The fuck is your problem? Stop. I know for a fact this one right here looks ashy on me, so there's almost no saving it. I'm gonna try to see if I can make it work with other shadows that I have in my collection. Maybe if I have something different underneath it, I can maybe save it, but even if it's a lot of work, it's not worth it. So I'm gonna try my best with this one. One where I'm almost debating what to do is this one, because I actually really love this palette, but my concern is, do you see that? There's a little rust on this palette. I just don't know. I'm gonna try to hit a couple of pans because I'm actually really close on hitting a pan here. Here I'm really close and hit a pan. So I really just want to try to hit a couple pans and see how I do. It's really easy for me to use this palette. I just haven't been reaching for it. And I think the problem was I've tried to pan this palette, and the moment I did that, I was stopped touching it. I don't know what it is when I say I'm gonna pan a palette, and I'm like, I never touch it again. But I normally would reach for pretty naturally prior to that. So we'll see. We'll see. This one is really getting old, so I think I might end up doing the same thing where I might try to save a couple of shadows because those are really easy to pop, but it's really old, so I'm nervous that the formula is going bad, especially because I have a little rust right there to remind me that it's really old. So I don't know, but I enjoyed this one, so we'll see if I maybe can save some shadows. On a similar boat, and this is going to be the case with most of my ColourPop palettes, I can just pop them out. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. This quad right here ain't going nowhere. So, and I can always pop this one out because I can always use a set-in lit shade kind of color. So I'm not worried about that either. So it's the fades of these four right here that I'm trying to decide. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm trying to just get more use out of it and see if I can reach for some of these shades right here. This quad is not going anywhere. I can guarantee you that right now. I fucking love this little quad right here. This is not going nowhere. This is an essential shadow I can just pop out and eventually use up. So I'm not worried about that either. So yeah, ColourPop, I'm going to end up just potting certain shades. I know that for a fact. One that I feel like people are going to be mad about, but if you know, you know, I absolutely despise the formula in the Huda Beauty palettes, or specifically the Mercury Retrograde, because it's the only one I've tried. But every time there's a really cool palette that comes out from her, I always listen to the reviews, because my whole thing is, and a lot of people talk about it, is a lot of her shades, regardless of how warm tone they look, will come out looking a little pink, and I hate that because it's not cool pink that would look good on my skin tone. Is ashy pink that would look bad on my skin tone, and I would like have a hard time, you know, just like getting different looks. And it shouldn't be that hard for a palette that's supposed to be this different. It shouldn't be that hard. Now this is where is the saving grace for this palette, is that I actually fucking love the shimmers. The shimmers did not have the same problem. My issue is specifically these shades right here, and even this one right here. They all look pink even though they shouldn't be. This is a cool tone brown. Why is it purple or pinky? This is a lavender. Why is it pink? This is actually makes sense, so I'm okay with that. This one actually doesn't pull anyway, any color. This orange one surprisingly pink. This orange one surprisingly pink, and I'm just like, why? Why does it do that? I don't want it to do that. I want it to just be what it looks like, you know. The shimmers though are fucking gorgeous. So this one, I don't know, because this one will be a really hard one to like pop out. So I know for a fact I have a home for this palette. If I wanted to find a home for this palette, my friend Karen has a palette just like this one, and she has a shit pan in every single one of this. She loves this palette. It's her favorite palette. She travels with it all the time. We went to California, I think it was last year, the year before that, I don't know, but she had pan on every single palette. She loves this palette. She loves it. So I think I might be able to declutter this one to her, because I'm sure she wouldn't mind. I want to love it, so I'm gonna really give it the really good try, because I really like these shimmers. I really do. It's just those mattes drive me crazy. My looks always end up looking not how I want them to look. Now the last two, I actually really love these palettes, but I also have to realize that they are the oldest palettes in my collection, alongside with that Give It To Me Straight palette, and that is the Larlie Los Angeles Cat's Pajamas. I love this palette. I've not yet noticed the formula changing, but this right here is the absolute oldest palette in my whole collection. I got it literally the day it launched back in 2017, I think it's when it launched. So it is old. It is old. It is 7 years old. 7 years old. So I really love it. If the formula stays good, I might be able to keep it for one more year, but I know it's on its way out. It's really old. It's really old. So we'll see how it goes. And then the other one is the Duckling Hill palette. Now this one, I actually have noticed some of the shades have changed in quality from what they used to be, which makes me very nervous because I know I don't know if I have the new or the old formula, but I actually really love this palette. I would never repurchase it because look how gigantic it is. But I would like to get a lot more use out of this palette. If the formula stands for the year and maybe I can keep it for one more year, I would love to do that. But if I notice the formula really changing and I'm having a really hard time, then I think it's gonna be time for me to let it go because obviously it expired. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed that's not what happens because I really love this. I like the mattes, I like the shimmers. The only thing I actually don't love is these two teal shades right here. I actually like this blue and this purple that are right here. I actually do like these. So fingers crossed that it doesn't go bad on me, but I have noticed a couple of shades just kind of changing slightly. I'm like, oh, that used to work a lot smoother than it did. So hopefully that's not the case. So what I'm really trying to do with all these palettes is one, really try to go for it and like really use them as much as possible, and especially for the ones that I just know they're on their last kick. This is it. They don't have a lot of life left in them, and that's going to be these three right here. These are the ones that are they're old. I think I got this one in 2017 as well, or 2018. I believe I got this one in 2017 as well, just later. No, I got this one in 2018. So again, all of these are old. The what makes me nervous if I give it to me straight is that little, it's the pan that I can see there's this little mold on it. So if they are good, I will try to keep them for another year, but I just know that I don't know that they will be good by the end of the year, to be honest. Proceed with caution, as I said, and with this palette right here, I'm just trying to see which shades are going to be saved and which ones are going to get decluttered, but these ones are going to be depotted individually, each one of these shades. So these ones are not going to be completely out of my collection because they're a little bit newer, a little bit. I think I got this one in 2019, and then I got this one when it launched, actually, or a couple of months after it launched, but these ones are going to get depotted. And then these two, I know for a fact this Party Animal, this one's gonna get decluttered. Even though I love it, I love the brand. I mean, because these are just not my colors. As for this one, there is a possibility that I could potentially keep it if I'm able to like figure out how to make it work for me. Because really what it is I need to reach for specific, like when I'm creating looks, I need to reach for this till it be like the shimmer for that. But I have single shadows that I normally do that with, and I never think of reaching for this specific palette. I normally use one palette and be done. So yeah, I'm really just trying to get more use of this Mercury retrograde, because if I am able to like figure out a way to like get this matte to not drive me absolutely insane, I would like to keep it. This one's actually not that old. I bought this in 2022, so it's actually not that old. It's just I hate the mattes. I hate that these colors don't pull true to pan. I hate it so much because it's not just that they don't pull true to pan, it's that they don't always blend well into my skin tone. The shimmers are absolutely fucking gorgeous. And Gaia, get out of there! Oh, not again. Jeez. So if I try to reach for this palette more this year, and I don't absolutely hate every single eye look that I do because of the shimmers, because of the mattes, then I will potentially keep the palette. So this may not be as cutthroat a declutter as I made it out to be honest. But a lot of these palettes, honestly, every time I reach for them, except for the Cat's Pajamas and Jaclyn Hill palette, drive me actually these two don't drive me insane either. These four, every time I reach for them, they absolutely drive me insane. I don't particularly love my looks, or I really just get frustrated specifically with like Slay Belle and Party Animal because I can't use them alone, and I like to use palettes alone. I like to create full looks with one palette, and these I can't quite do that with. So I think that's what really drives me insane. The other ones are honestly just old. And that's really what it comes down to. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm hoping I can save some of these palettes, but honestly, if at the end of the year I end up decluttering all of them and just depotting a couple of shades from this, proceed with caution, I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly would not be surprised if I had just only pulled those that quat from here and actually get rid of everything else. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll see how it goes. I just know these ones are really old, and this one drives me insane. I can complete full looks with this ones. I really love this quad. And this ones just don't all work for my skin tone. So I gotta figure out which ones do and which ones don't. Oh, please don't break. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. I would love to know a couple of things from you. One, what is your oldest palette in your collection? How old is it? Like 5, 10? How old has it been in your collection? Has it gone bad? Hasn't gone bad? Or like, how old does a palette need to be for you to like get rid of it? Because I've seen like some of like the big YouTubers that have like really massive collections, and they get rid of palettes within like 2 years old, and I'm just like, those are still good palettes. And I see people that are like, as soon as they're 5 years old they get rid of them, and then I see people that hoard things for like 10-15 years. So I'm just like, when does it go bad? When do you stop using them? Because technically all of these have gone bad. Even the Mercury retrograde, which I bought in 2022, because actually no, this one's still good for a little longer. It says 24 months. I bought it in like March, I think, April, so it has technically a couple months left of being good. So I just want to know, how long do you keep your palettes for? When do you declutter them? What is the oldest palette in your collection? Are you worried that it expired? I'm just curious. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.